That's a biggie. Those two right there are biggies.
Ready? All right, I've got straight up 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and start the meeting with Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First thing on the agenda is approval of the agenda. There's a few changes I would like to propose. Number 1 is to add the payroll benefit claims to the, under Pam Goffman. Second one is to approve the approval of surplus dishwasher at the detention center. Third one is the ordinance establishing of Petabola, which is the Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals. And then the removal of the personal policy changes, since that's not written.
We're gonna put PTA BOA after the other two under Chris? Is that where we're gonna put it?
Under Chris, yes.
And then where's the dishwasher you wanna put? With Pam? Under Pam?
Yes.
Is that fine?
That'd be fine.
Okay.
Dishwasher, Alan, I mean.
Or we'll just add Alan to it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's the one that actually asked for that.
Okay. I'll so approve, or so motion, sorry.
Second that.
Okay, motion made and second. Now vote by roll call. Greg?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
Also vote aye. Agenda is approved. Okay, then first thing on the agenda is Pam Goffman.
Okay, and I have a few things for you. Payroll, that was distributed to all county employees on January 31st for $150,287.94. And then there was a missed pay to an employee that we did on 2/1 for $1,666.80.
Questions or discussion?
No, sir.
I'll make that motion approved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Vote by roll call. Randy?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Also vote aye.
Okay, and then we had regular claims that were issued, or the dated for today. County General, Highway, and all the advances. Oh, I didn't have the total. 465, 480.79, and 262.34 for County General. Highway for 67, 689.57. Advances of 1443.99, 55, 734.80, 375, 848. And the 507.81.
Motion to approve.
Second that motion.
Motion made and second. Vote by roll call. Greg?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
Also vote aye.
Okay, and then we have the payroll benefit claims that you added on. These are for all the insurances and the taxes we pay out. $317,690.71.
I'll make that motion approved.
Second.
Motion made second. Roll call. Randy?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Also vote aye.
Okay, the minutes, do you want to take all these together? Or do you want to take them singly?
There was some question on some of them.
Yes, and Greg already gave me some changes, and we've already made all those changes.
Yep.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion one way or the other.
Did you see the changes, or do you need me to go say what they were? I mean, they were minor.
Right.
Yeah, so this will be approving the October 18th, November 10th, November 16th, December 2nd, December 21st, and December 29th.
I'd like to make a motion to approve all of them except for 11:10 and 12:29. The only reason I'm going to abstain from those, so if we can do two different motions, that'd be great. So.
11:10 and 12:29?
Yeah, I'm going to abstain from those.
Okay.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made and second. Vote by roll call. Greg?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
Also vote aye.
Okay.
All right. I'll entertain a motion for the others.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it. Vote by roll call. Randy?
Aye.
Greg? Abstain?
Yep, thank you.
And also vote aye. So 2-0,
Okay.
one abstention.
12:29. That is all I have.
Okay. Next thing on the agenda, Steve Howe, approval of applications to prep right away. Can you explain that?
That was submitted by Lockmuller Group. There's a water line extension project going along sections of Old 237. Anywhere where they cross the road, they'll be boring the road. There won't be any open cutting on. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I saw that. Did you?
I think I sent that to all you guys.
I received it.
Yeah, I got it right here, so. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion made and second. Roll call, Randy.
Aye.
Great.
Aye.
Also vote aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
You may want to stay there because we're getting ready to do stop signs next.
you. Yeah, you might as well stay up here. So the next thing on the agenda is approval of ordinance establishing stop signs at Old 37 near Prairie Central School.
Yeah, Steve contacted me and asked me to prepare an ordinance for stop signs at two places around Prairie Central. One would be the intersection of French Ridge Road and Old 37. That's a three-way intersection, turn that into a three-way stop. And the other one is up Old 37 a little bit, where there's two other ones, excuse me, where the ingress-egress roads off Prairie Central, one road, say Old 37 are. We would put stop signs there going north and south as well. Did I get all that? So I drafted an ordinance to place stop signs at those locations and directing the superintendent to install stop signs and require motorists to stop as required by law.
Yeah, this has been a plan that has been worked on for quite some time. I think it's going to do a lot for the safety around the school. Any other discussion, Randy, Greg?
I know that we had somebody from Derby come to us about like speed bumps and stuff, but is there anything, when they were talking about people speeding in that area, is there anything about possibility of putting stop signs somewhere down there or rumble strips down there to help with that? I know we didn't want to do speed bumps. That was like last year or something like that came and we,
Was that down at Rome?
Rome, I'm sorry, Rome.
Yeah,
Yes, I apologize.
What they was complaining about there's already a stop sign at that intersection.
Okay,
We could possibly put some rumble strips or something,
yeah,
but there's already a stop sign there.
okay. I knew that they were worried about people speeding in that
Yeah,
area. I didn't know if
yes.
there was a possibility of, we're doing this for safety. I didn't know if there was a possibility of doing something like that.
Yeah, we
for
could
safety.
possibly put some rumble strips.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Steve, we talked about that, the speed bumps were a problem because of.
Yeah,
they-
couldn't do that.
They
Right.
create a safety
Yeah, yeah.
hazard.
Right.
But the
Yeah.
rumble strips are different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Several years ago, Steve, out of Prairie Central, we put some no parking. Did the people obey that up there close to the ball field?
Well, on one side of the road,
It's much better now.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I know we tried to address that issue then with some safety and,
yeah.
uh,
Yeah, that's
several
been,
years since I've been up there for a ball game, but
yeah.
it was dangerous. I mean.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of ball games there and some of them people will be going 60 mile an hour through there and the kids all over the place. And
Yeah, it's just lucky
it's gonna-
somebody hadn't got hurt.
yes, very lucky so that nobody had yet.
I've got no issues with doing this. I just was wondering about possible putting it down there at Rome too. if
Yeah,
there's a chance
we
down
could
there.
do rumble strips there if they wanted to.
Just to take a look.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we would, just take a look.
Right, but today,
Yeah, for this here, I'm okay with it. I motion to approve.
okay,
I'll second that motion.
okay, motion made and second. Vote by roll call, Greg,
Aye,
Randy.
Aye.
thank you.
Also vote aye.
All right, thank
Don't
you.
leave yet.
Okay,
One more.
One more.
One more.
So, some time ago, the folks at JK Forever Homes came up to us and talked to us about possibly taking the roads in the Highlands into the county system. And they have come back after we talked to them about that. As you all know, there's an ordinance in the county where the roads have to comply with the county standards. And they have asked at this point that not all roads be taken over, but just the ones I've listed in the ordinance, which are Annandale Way, Glengarry Court, Aberdeen Way, and the entrance from Old State Road 37 to Tartan Way. I think the plan is, guys, if you would ask for the others to be taken over when they're completed.
Yeah.
They're not yet. So Steve went out, took a look at the roads, and I'll let him.
Well, they all look to me like they're up to standard. They're all in good shape. It was just paved this summer. And I think don't see any reason why we shouldn't.
I'm guessing there's documentation or testing that shows that they were done to the standard, or do we know?
Well, we just went and looked at them.
Okay.
We looked at them before they were paved, and it looked like they had the required base and, subsurface and everything, and drainage is all there. There's curbs and guttering with drains and everything, so.
You know that road way better than me. I'm not questioning. I'm just trying to learn. That was a learning question more than anything.
So the process is, if you guys choose to do this, I have lost it now, an ordinance, which I've got 12 ordinances up here. So I drafted an ordinance accepting these roads into the as county roads under our right-of-way county road system. And then I also prepared a right-of-way dedication, which is a document that'll be recorded in the recorder's office that will need to be signed by you guys, where they dedicate the platted rights-of-way to the county for public purposes. So that kind of ties all the, crosses all the T's and dots all the I's. So.
And then that puts them on the inventory where we get.
Yeah, we can get paid for the mileage,
paid by the state.
right.
That's correct.
I've got one question for them before.
It's all landed or Aberdeen.
Yeah, all Aberdeen.
Yeah, we changed it.
No, no.
To be honest.
Okay.
All in order?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Well, this is what we're looking for, is the county to increase our residents, so I think that's a big step.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. You wanna make a
Case
mo-
folks have stepped up.
Randy, you want to make a motion?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll make that motion, and I want to thank you guys for investing in Perry County and housing. We need that bad, so thanks again, and that's the least we can do as a county here. If you go that far, we can finish it up then, so. Thanks.
I'm sure the RDC would be very happy when we start that little project if you're involved in that one too, so keep that in mind, okay? So, thank you.
So that's my motion.
Second?
Motion made, second, vote by roll call, Greg,
Aye?
Randy.
Aye.
I also vote aye.
All right, thank you.
Now you can leave.
All right.
Guys, this is at some point, something now. Don't have to do it now, but you can. I'm falling apart. Okay.
It's actually all under you.
No, I've got the PETA BOA.
Oh, yeah, you do.
So Mindy and I were discussing the PETA BOA, which is the Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals. Under Indiana law, that can be either a 5-member or a 3-member board as determined by the commissioners. And the statute lays out who appoints whom. I believe if it's a 3-member board, right now, the commissioners appoint some of the members and the council appoints some of the members. That would continue if it's a 3-member board. It would be 2 members appointed by the commissioners and 1 by the council. Mindy is here if anyone has any questions as to why she thinks this is necessary. I'm not making a recommendation, I'm simply providing the ordinance, and Mindy asked me to prepare it and send it out to you guys. So it's there if you want to ask questions about it.
Is there a reason why we're going from 5 to 3? Are we not getting applicants or something for?
I'm sorry.
Is there a reason why we're going from 5 to 3?
It just,
Can you?
Would you kind of come up?
It just makes it more, I don't want to, it's just that we've never had 5 members per state statute. We've always assumed that I was one of those 5, and at some time down the road, at some point that changed. So we've never had 5 members. We've had 3 voting members and 1 non-voting member because of the way it says about the level 2 or level 3.
Okay.
And unless that's changed, there's not any other than in my office.
Right.
So-
I don't have a problem with that part of it. I was just talking about the 3 to 5. I didn't know if that was a.
We've just not had 5, so
Okay. Teresa, do you know how many applicants we've gotten for this board so far, if any, that applied for it?
I've gotten one so far.
1? And then you got your current members. I'm sure they're going to reapply.
I'm sure,
I would hope.
I'm aware that there's going to be some, yes.
And that's Tony Hollenden and who's the other one?
Martha
Tony's, I
Dupree.
believe, Tony's the council appointment?
Pardon me, Jim,
Tony's the council appointment.
one will be, depending on if you do 5 or 3.
Right.
If you do 5, the commissioners will appoint 3, council will appoint 2.
Yeah.
If you change it to a 3, the commissioners will appoint 2, the council will appoint 1.
Okay. Chris, if we set it at 5 and only have 3 because we don't have people apply, is that violation?
No, as long as everyone shows up, but if a majority is a quorum, so 3
Right.
have to be there, and a majority has to approve, so 3 would have to, it'd have to be unanimous vote and unanimous. And
You couldn't have anyone
all 3
gone.
there, that's right. Yeah,
Even though you only had 3, the quorum would still be 3 because you got 2 vacancies.
that's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
So if we'd go down to 3, there'd just be 3 voting members then.
Correct.
Yeah, so the quorum in that case would be 2.
2, yes.
And it would take both to vote.
We've got another, week before we actually have to vote on?
You have scheduled to make the appointments at the next meeting. I think they have to be in by the 14th at noon
Yeah, so basically a week.
is the deadline, yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem. If we can get people to apply, that's the thing. That's the big thing. So maybe we could.
But you need people that are knowledgeable in real estate values.
That's the problem. The statute says you have to be, the only qualifications are.
How many people do we have in
You
realty, though?
You have to be 18 years of age and knowledgeable in real estate. They want you to have level 2 or 3 certified appraisers on there in certain numbers, but we don't have any in the county, so we've always struggled with that. The council and the commissioners have the legal right to waive that requirement if there aren't any available.
And in the past, we've had a retired banker, real estate agent, and a corporate attorney.
You could probably have a contractor that builds them too. I mean, we got 2 right here that would probably be fine to be on that board,
So,
right? I mean, and Chris is here too, so can we table this until we know how many we have apply? I mean, we still got a week to wait because if we can have 5, let's have 5, if we've got qualified people. If not, we'll shove the number down at the meeting before we make the appointments.
makes me no difference.
I think a little different on that. I'd rather have 3 than if you got 5 people applied, then you can pick out 3 of the 5 of the best ones. What do you think? So that's where I'm at on the.
They have to be qualified, obviously, but beyond that point. But,
I've
yeah.
seen so many boards that it's hard to get a quorum anymore, and it's hard to get everybody here at once.
Yeah.
I don't know, it struggles, it seems like, on any board
Yeah.
that we try to pick, so.
Okay.
And the meetings are all day. On the days that we schedule, they're doing the day, so
So it's a-
it has to be somebody that's flexible, that,
Yeah. So usually, once a year?
depending on the number of appeals, but typically we always have 1 day, and sometimes we have 2 days, depending on the number.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to move it to 3. That's my motion.
Okay.
You want a second it, you can.
What was the option on tabling it?
Take, just to see if we have people apply. If we only have
Is that-
X number of people apply, well,
I mean,
The way the law reads, you're supposed to appoint these folks annually.
Yes.
I have discovered that that was not being done.
And that has not been done, and that's,
But the statute says that the members who are appointed serve until their successor is appointed.
Right.
So they're legally able to operate, but, so what I guess I'm saying is, we don't have to appoint them next meeting, we can wait another meeting, just whatever you guys choose to do, it's your call.
Well, I don't think you have you don't have a set of appeals coming up anyway, so it's gonna be a year cycle before you get to those anyway.
I'm sorry.
You don't have a set of appeals coming up anyway, right?
No,
Yeah,
no.
those are all done for
No,
this year.
those are done from last year, and then for the PETA BOA.
Yeah.
And then once Form 11s go out, the end of April, then there'll be another 45 days.
Yeah.
And then
There's
after
no
that.
time rush then, is about what I'm saying at this point. No. So, as long as we did it before we did our appointments, one way or the other, we're good.
Correct.
So, just gives a week to see if there's interest.
Well, I choose not to second Randy's motion. Do you want to make the motion to table it?
Table it until the next meeting, yeah.
Okay. Since we have time to do it.
Okay.
And this first time it was brought up.
Yeah.
in a public
Yeah.
meeting.
Is that a motion, Greg?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I'll second it. Randy?
No.
Okay. So, vote by roll call, Greg?
Aye?
I vote aye, Randy votes nay.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's all I have.
Good. Next thing on the agenda is the Animal Welfare Control and Education Board appointment.
I think there were some questions on the ordinance.
Oh,
I think Chris had a chance to look at that.
you want to answer it? There was question, and I think you answered it, but you weren't here at the last meeting.
Okay.
You answered it by email, that the legality of,
Yeah, okay, the appointments?
yes.
Yeah, the way the appointments work is, I didn't know we were going to talk about this, so I don't have it with me. The way the appointments work is that the commissioners are the appointing body for a certain number, and then Tell City and Calhoun appoint members. The members are supposed to come, some of them are at large, and then some of them are supposed to come from like an animal welfare organization, et cetera. Those organizations that qualify as those are allowed to make recommendations. But the ultimate decision on who you pick is the commissioner's choice. So you can pick the person or persons who are recommended, or you can not. It's your decision. When their terms are up, the ordinance says that they are supposed to be, that position is supposed to be filled, the expiring term is supposed to be filled 30 days before it actually expires. And then the ordinance goes on to say, like most ordinances do, that the sitting member's term will continue until his or her successor is actually appointed. So if for some reason it wasn't done, that doesn't sound good. If for some reason it wasn't done 30 days before, the term was done sometime after the term expired, they would just serve on until they were actually either reappointed or a new person was put in place. So that's kind of where we find ourselves right now. Let's see, do you have one open spot?
Yes.
Yeah. An animal welfare organization, one open spot. So right now, the person who is currently serving there will serve until the successor to that person is chosen.
Okay.
We got one spot and two candidates, right? Is that right, Teresa?
Let me go back and revisit that for you.
You are a member of the Humane Society?
Yes,
And
Three
how-
spots.
but
Three.
I didn't put, apply for it in enough time.
You did if we're voting on it tonight, because you put it in a month before tonight.
Okay.
So there's three.
You waiting on me?
Yes.
Okay.
Shannon's term
Yeah,
did not
Shannon
start
Stur-
as a member of the Humane Society
What-
until January 1st.
I'll let you speak, ma'am, but hold on one second, okay? Or, I'm sorry, Tom will let you speak. He's actually the one that lets you do that. I'm sorry, but.
Right. Good. Shannon Sturgeon is your current appointee and has expressed interest in being reappointed. You received a letter of support from the board, Vice President, as well as from Herb Landers. Adam Fisher, oh no, he was Ag Animal. You had a letter of support from the Humane Society for Jim Carter, and Tanya Rankin had also expressed interest.
Okay.
Excuse me, I would just soon step aside and let Jim.
I just didn't want to be unfair.
Right, yes.
I mean, if you hit the qualifications, you hit the
Right.
qualifications, right?
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Is there one seat or two?
One seat.
Let's see. If you remember my motion back at the meeting, 3 meetings ago, I guess it was, I nominated Sharon, and I'll hold with that nomination.
Okay.
Shannon.
Shannon, I'm sorry.
I'll second that. Since we have legal advice and we have, that there's nothing illegal about what we did. So I will second that.
When was the last time the board, the Animal Welfare Board, appointed someone or recommended someone?
I don't recall.
I can probably answer that for you.
So we'll vote by roll call. Randy?
Aye.
Greg?
No?
I'll vote aye. 2-1. Okay. Next thing on the agenda is Teresa. The title.
Okay. Okay, each of you have copies of the proposed Title VI implementation plan for this year, as well as goals and accomplishments report. The Title VI plan is a part of Perry County's efforts to meet and exceed the minimum compliance requirements established under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Code of Federal Regulations, and related anti-discrimination statutes and regulations. As a recipient of federal funds, we must conform to Title VI and all related statutes, regulations, and directives which provide that no person shall be excluded from participation in, denied benefits of, or subjected to discrimination on the grounds of race, color, age, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, disability, national origin, religion, income status, or limited English proficiency. The Title VI plan has several sections in it. We have Title VI assurances. Since we are recipients of federal aid for road and bridge projects, Federal Highway requires that we have assurances of non-discrimination in all our contracts. The plan identifies the Title VI coordinator and contact information, which is me. It lists our grievance policy and procedure. There's a statement of environmental justice, which ensures that minority and low-income populations are treated fairly in our programs. Limited English proficiency section just states that we will provide fair access to persons who cannot speak English. Encounters with individuals has been very low. And really non-existent at this point, but according to our census data, the probability would be very low. Dissemination of information to employees. We provide orientation to new employees on our employee portal. We have a non-discrimination newsletter that I prepare and disperse out to all departments on an annual basis. And departments have access to our policies and documents on our website, and also in a folder that I have provided to him in the past. Data collection and analysis. We have had no reports of complaints of discrimination. Census data is reviewed annually. Any anonymous surveys completed by the public to identify their gender, ethnicity, race, age, income, and if they are disabled, are analyzed. We have a community outreach section, which states that public meetings provide opportunity for input Our non-discrimination plans are on our website and offer opportunities for public comment. Dissemination of Title VI information. That section refers to our Title VI and ADA notices of non-discrimination, which are posted in all county buildings. And we also publish annually in the newspaper a non-discrimination statement. We have a sub-recipient review procedure section. Anyone who received payments from Perry County where funding originates from federal assistance is subject to the provisions of Title VI. It's our responsibility to assure that non-discrimination language is included in agreements and bid notices, either written or implied. Then the goals and accomplishments report. This just summarizes what our 2021 accomplishments are or were, which were to annually prepare and submit a newsletter to all employees and remind them to review and abide by our policies, publish annual non-discrimination statement in the newspaper, post notices in buildings, monitor census data, surveys, department reports, and any other methods available to ensure minority populations and LEP individuals have meaningful access to programs and services, and to monitor our contracts for federal aid transportation projects. Currently, River Road and bridge inspection contracts have that appropriate language. The 2022 goals basically are the same things to keep these ongoing. And in addition, for this year, I will work to look at federal grants, not just transportation funding, but all federal grants to determine if they involve any subcontracts, and if so, review them for appropriate language. So if you are fine with moving forward, I will need your approval for the Title VI implementation plan for 2022 and the goals and accomplishments report.
It's a lot of work, and I appreciate it. I don't gotta say that first off. I do have one question, though. As you were going through it, something that kind of rang in my head was the sub-recipient review. And I'm glad Chris is here because it's kind of a question for him. And you may not know the answer. Feel free to say, I'll find out.
Yeah, sure.
Does that apply to, like, also when we give grants? So as ARP, do we have to put something maybe in the contract that we sign with them or the language that we do with them?
Probably.
Teresa's shaking her head
I
behind
would
you.
think with the uniform code and the regulations, I would think there would have to be
Certainly
something.
no harm in putting it in there.
Yeah, we probably need to keep that in the back of
Yeah.
our mind when we're making these templates and stuff,
I
so.
would.
Okay.
It's a good thought, Greg.
Yep.
Other than that, again, just thanks for all the work. I appreciate it.
So you
I know you
entertain a
did a lot.
motion to approve it?
Absolutely. So motion.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Thanks,
Motion
Teresa.
made. Second, vote by roll call. Randy?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Also vote aye.
And just to have on file, there's a few documents you'll need to sign. One is the Title VI assurances, which we would like to, that is for all three of your signatures. And then the president, we normally do this annually. We have the president to sign the Title VI notice of non-discrimination and the ADA notice of non-discrimination, just to keep that renewed annually. So those are on your way down through there. Okay, that's all I have.
All right, last thing on the agenda, the approval for surplus of the dishwasher at the detention center. You want to handle that, Shannon?
Just that y'all know that we had a new dishwasher recently. We had the old one since 2014, and it's currently sitting in our garage at the detention center. I'd like to get rid of it, somehow, some way get it out of the way. It's no good anymore. We did have to get a new one.
It's a nice chunk of stainless. Do you get anything for stainless nowadays?
Well, that's my next question. I mean, I'd be willing to look and see and then get whatever we get back to the county.
Yeah, because I mean, it doesn't work. I doubt
Yeah.
anybody wants it, so, but a chunk of stainless might bring us something.
Yes.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm good with
Once we declare it surplus, then
Yeah.
he can.
do that.
See whether- Yeah.
Do you want to try or you want me to try?
You can try.
Makes the call.
Yeah.
Well, I
We
mean-
have to determine it surplus before he can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do that.
So motioned.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Roll call, Randy.
Aye.
Greg.
Aye.
Also vote aye.
Thank you.
All right. Miscellaneous, other comments? Yes, ma'am. Could you hear that? Step up.
My name is Tanya Rankin, and I just want to say that I think that what happened with this animal board is blatant and obvious. You didn't even know her name, okay? So I don't think you have anything in mind to change the welfare of the animals of Perry County. I'm not saying the animal board is not doing what they can, but I think that it would help to have a new set of eyes and ears, new perspective. I don't think you guys even consider that. And I want everyone to know that my phone is shut off from now on. So when I get calls about all the abuse and the neglect that's going on, I'm going to give out y'all's phone numbers and y'all's phone numbers. And you guys can start dealing with it personally, because I'm done. I'm washing my hands of it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
First thing, I just have a question. At about 11, between 11 and 11:30, I gave Teresa a copy to give you, a letter to give to all the commissioners. I'm assuming that all three of you received that copy?
I did.
Okay. And I also gave a copy to Chris's secretary. Did you receive the copy? Okay. I just want to know if you received it. And the second portion is, I'm protesting. I have no problems at all with Shannon. That's not a problem. As I said before, 5 years ago, when we went through this before with Linda Dudonay, it's not her ability, it's her eligibility that is in question. And my problem is that if you don't do things proper, what else is not being done proper? And I disagree with Chris. This was not done legally, okay? And it's based on the timelines, and it's in that document. You read it, you seen it, so you seen it before this. You made this statement, and before you made the decision that you made tonight. I don't know where this is going to go from here, but whenever there is a blatant time statement on an ordinance that you should know, and the Animal Control Board should know, because they're the ones that, Julie made a correct statement the last meeting where she said that the commissioners nor the attorney are not going to know every ordinance. That's correct. I agree with that. But it's the position that you gave these positions to do know the animal control ordinance. They should know it. So, and as stated, I think they failed. I gave you suggestions of how to solve this problem, and I'm going to make those two statements again. One was you table this temporarily, and number two, you create 2 more positions. I talked to the clerk treasurer, as I told Chris of Troy. 1 position would be, because Troy's not represented, you create 1 position from Troy as an at-large candidate, and then the commissioners pick out of the active commissioners, you pick one of the 3 commissioners to also serve on that board. And normally probably would be to break ties. I'm not saying that the commissioner, you could, any way you want to set the ordinance, as long as there's 7 people, because I knew there would be a problem about having an even number. I discussed this with the board before, and I think that is a very reasonable thing, and that could solve this problem, and as I stated in the thing, the problem is the 116 members, as stated, that we have presently, I seem to feel like they're impugned because there was only one qualified candidate in the timeline stated in the ordinance. And we have people that used to be Humane Society members and senior members that are very upset about this, plus some of the people in the county, the public, that know if you don't follow an ordinance, what other ordinance are you not following? And like I said, I have a difference. I respect your position.
His position's just not correct. I'm sorry, Jim.
Well,
I'm sorry, it's just not.
well, I'm glad you're making that publicly, because
I am making it public. I said it before they made the vote, what I thought the rule was.
well, I know, but again, remember, you're advising them, correct?
Yes.
I know that.
Obviously.
I know. But I gave a solution to this problem ahead of time.
I don't have a dog in this hunt. I'm just advising on what the rule is.
I know. Especially, you're right, you're absolutely correct. But what I'm saying is that if ordinances are not being followed correctly now, what other ordinances are not being followed correctly? Okay? So I'm not, I went way past the point of being upset over it. I'm just concerned that things should be followed, and if they're not followed, and they weren't, then it should be corrected. And that's it, okay? We'll go from there.
To reiterate what he said, it is followed legally. The eligibility was confirmed of the candidate. I'm just telling you what it was, okay?
What
And
eligibility?
Listen, we give you the chance to speak, okay?
Yes,
And if Troy wants representation, I don't have a problem with that. If they can petition, then we can look at amending the ordinance that's fine.
that's right. And I don't have any problem. What I'm just saying is, in the timeline, there was only one legal appointment, and that was from the Humane Society. Just remember, I said that,
No,
okay?
that is where, according to legal, that you're not correct.
You don't have to appoint the person who is nominated. You can, but you don't have to. There's no law that says you have to.
And I agree with that. I'm not disagreeing. It is your absolute right to appoint. But you have to appoint legally, and that can be,
He did,
yes.
according to legal counsel, and according to the ordinance, and if you want to give
I'm sorry that you're not feeling well.
a professional lawyer, someone that knows law, and to read that and to argue with our lawyer, then that's.
I already have.
Okay, well, let's see it.
No, you will see it, but not now. Like I said, I'm just giving you that, okay?
Okay.
All right? Thank you. With due respect.
Yes, sir?
Which Jim is still working on his proposal for the shelter. And the other young lady from Harrison County says she, I talked to her a couple hours a day. She will have her proposal ready. The board will review it on the 18th and hopefully present it to you guys on the 22nd.
Great.
We actually meet on the 14th, though, right?
15th this month?
15th of this month, isn't it?
15th, we meet next Tuesday.
Yeah, because I told her wrong myself when because I've talked to her as well. And I told her wrong, too, because I was thinking it was the 22nd, because
I knew it wasn't me or her.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's all right.
I don't know.
For that. But I did tell her wrong, but we need to actually do it the 15th. So I didn't realize that until today when I started looking at the calendar and I went, oh, man.
Yeah,
I was looking at the other appointments and they said 14th, and I was like, that's a week early, but I didn't realize that our it's one of these weird months where we meet.
First was on a Tuesday, so
Yes.
we began quick turnaround.
So it's out of whack on me, so.
Well,
But you call her and I'll call her, we'll make sure that she's ready.
Well, I'll be
I think she's
talking-
ready, right?
She said she's gonna try to be ready, which Debbie's been working with her on payroll.
Yeah.
And I worked some more on the corporation stuff today.
Yeah.
So I'll be talking to her, or chatting with her again tonight and tomorrow. I'll see if she's gonna be ready or not.
Okay.
If not, we can always give you guys the paperwork, let you look at it, and then be ready to do something at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, Jim's still working on his too, so you might have two choices
Okay,
to go from.
good, well, one way or another, we're gonna open.
Our meeting, the Animal Control Board, is the 15th at 6 o'clock at the depot, 333 7th Street.
So it's the same as this, same time as this one?
Yeah.
Yes,
This one's in the morning and that's.
yes.
Right.
So if she's got it, we'll,
Can I make a suggestion, and just a suggestion, but if she is ready, if your board could meet the 14th or earlier, is that a possibility?
That's a possibility. I have.
Because I would love to get her in here as soon as we can. I don't know if you've met the young lady, but I think she's got a lot of potential. I think it'd be great to see her come up here.
she,
I didn't mean to interrupt either, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
she's got a lot of potential, and then I worked with him today on 5 different cat issues for a Tell City, Canton, and 2 in the county, ranging from the smallest number was 5 cats to 20 plus to 30, and possibly 50 plus, but I've not found them yet. And naturally, they're like every other shelter, they're full.
Yeah.
So the one guy is taking 5 from the county up there tomorrow to drop off, so the county doesn't have to pay for it. And the other ones, if we can get any of them took care of before she makes her proposal, we will. But if they keep getting the cats in like they're getting, they stay so full, we can't find any place that's got room to take them right now. Because they've got 20 here in Tell City, which the mayor called last week. He's getting a lot of, he needs them going quick.
Yeah.
So if any of you guys need any barn cats, we can get them spayed, neutered, and delivered, and rabies shot.
Kirby, can you explain what Fix a Stray is? I saw that you're the president or the founder of Fix a Stray. And I know a lot of people ask about cats, and I don't know what Fix a Stray is or what they do or how do they get paid for or what, can you
Fix a
explain
Stray
that?
raises its own money, and basically been spayed and neutered and rabies shot cats.
So who calls you though to, I mean,
Everybody. You should see it on Facebook all the time.
I don't see Fix a Stray anywhere. So I'm just not, so anybody can call you and you'll come and get
No.
a cat? I don't get it.
If we've got money, we will help. We have did over 358 cats in the last couple of years. As far as trapped them, neutered, released. Fix a Stray helped with the 15 cats down here on Sandy Hieronymus. They helped with the 17 cats on the count and warrant with the police department.
So they should call you or call dispatch or, I mean, 'cause there's a lot of confusion with where people need to call. People are messaging me, messaging everybody, you know.
I think the best thing is for them to call dispatch first, right?
Everybody needs to call dispatch. That's just like last night when Legina and I was going back and forth. I had them call dispatch. Dispatch went to 327 11th Street, which is the wrong address. It's actually 319th 11th Street. They went there, checked on the dogs were fine. They was in the house, had food and water. They also had a food and water bowl outside with a straw. 2 hours and a half later, the same guy called back, sent the officers back to 327 11th. He went back to 319 because he knew where it was. The other officer radioed him and said, I just left her 2.5 hours ago. Those dogs are fine. The guy just puts them back out to use the bathroom inside the pen. And then I called and worked with them on another one on, I think it's 1100 block of 13th Street. Barking German Shepherd since 7 a.m. But the officer parked at the end of the alley, walked down the alley, called dispatch back and said, call the RP again, see if the dog is barking. She said, oh yeah, it's barking like crazy. He said, I'm standing in the middle of the alley and I don't hear anything. But I mean,
So
just
you're going to those calls as Animal Welfare and Control and Education Board, not as
That's
Fix
both.
a
I
Stray?
go with both.
Okay.
Because we've got pricing that we use to fix these animals that the Animal Board does not have. So I
The
do
key though
both.
for the public though is to call dispatch.
Right.
Because that way
There's
it's,
a lot of confusion with that.
because if you don't call dispatch, it's all uncoordinated at that point. But if you call dispatch, a CAD is started, the process is, all documented, everything is taken care of by the
I
team.
haven't had any issues. but
No,
a
no,
lot
but
of
I'm
people
glad
ask
you
me about
mentioned
that,
it.
and I don't know.
And if there's anybody out there listening, that's the protocol. You should call
And you've got a
dispatch.
Facebook page that can be shared,
No, we don't have a Facebook page. I don't want a Facebook page.
okay? So
You get
we
too much.
mentioned Facebook.
It's on Facebook all over the place, yeah. I mean, there's,
Fix the stray?
Fix
I
the Stray.
haven't seen it anywhere, so I don't know.
Well, there's people talks about it all the time.
Okay.
There is a major problem, and it's been going on for a very, very long time, as far as who does what, when, and where. Nobody knows who to call.
They can't hear.
So, the Humane Society, the shelter,
Becky, can I ask you to come up? They can't hear you, so. Sorry, Tom, I should have.
that's okay. Like I said, there's been a major problem for years. Who do we call? We've got, first we had the Humane Society and the Animal Shelter. Now we've got Herbie's Animal Club, and I don't know who else. Whoever else wants to start something.
As Greg
And-
said a while ago, everything needs coordinated through dispatch.
Yeah, as far as we're concerned, everything needs to go through.
Right, I think so
That's where-
too.
That's where we're getting our animal control dispatch from,
Mm-hmm.
and the officers are.
Correct.
To
That's,
check on the calls. So to answer your question, it
Mhm.
should all be for to keep from confusion, it all needs to go through dispatch.
correct.
That
That
office
office.
should have been along.
Yes.
All along.
Yes, it should have, because
And
people
that-
are getting
and that
confused.
officer is the incident commander, basically,
Mhm.
at that point, right? I mean, he's the one that's gonna make the calls, the judgments of who else he needs to call to bring in and all that kind of stuff.
Yes,
And
yes.
even, and all through past several years, it should have always went through dispatch, and that really hasn't changed.
Right.
Now, if people don't know that, they need to be educated that it
Yeah.
goes through dispatch. And dispatch will contact the appropriate person. Now, they don't need to call Herbie, although Herbie will answer the phone, they don't need to call him. They need to call dispatch, because dispatch then will contact Herbie or Fix a Stray or the Humane Society.
See, that's where people are getting confused. They do not
Animal
know
control.
who,
The people at
Dispatch.
dispatch.
they don't know the protocol.
Yeah, the people at dispatch know how to handle these situations.
That's correct. Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
So that's
And-
what that's the key. If we need to educate anything, it's the public. We need to
Yeah,
say.
that
call
needs to be
dispatch,
put
call
out there,
dispatch.
you know, that you call dispatch, and they'll know what to do from there.
The other thing to it as well is that as the CADs get built, right?
Mm-hmm,
So if you have people, they use Facebook or they call somebody that they know or whatever, and they don't use dispatch, that CAD is not created.
right.
And without that CAD, you don't have any numbers. The numbers mean something, because if you have 1,000 CADs around cats or something, guess what? That's probably going to get some attention, because the number's growing, you know, or
Right.
whatever. So that's very key to have that as well, just as documentation purposes, you know. So.
I have another question too. The individual that is looking into the animal shelter,
Yes.
how did she acquire a set of keys to the shelter?
I personally, actually, Shelby, you're talking about?
Yes,
I asked for her to get a set of keys. And the
Okay.
reason for that was twofold, and it wasn't just her, it's Harrison County's animal control. I asked them for that because we actually have dog huts, and we're going to have food in there when the shelter actually outside is built, that they can actually go in there and get food or whatever they need to for that animal or whatever. The other part of it
So
was,
you gave them a key?
I gave Harrison County a set of keys. Yes, I
Okay,
did.
I mean, we needed commissioner action for that.
Oh, that is my bad then.
Okay.
I did.
Because nobody else was aware.
because she rattled the keys at me the other day, and I said, where did you get those?
Yeah, I did not realize, since they were actually contracted with us, I thought that was okay.
But we need to, I mean. we need to-
Liability
hopefully
purposes
we'll get to the
mainly.
point where, exactly.
Mhm.
Hopefully we'll get to the point where we have the animal shelter operator, and this will be a moot point.
Yeah.
It'll be their building, their responsibility.
Correct.
That is a bad on my part. I did not think about it in that sense. I thought of them as a subcontractor needing access to do what they needed to do. So that was my.
I was just puzzled when that
my-
happened, and
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad you mentioned
Hopefully
it,
this
because
will-
I didn't have any thought about it, to tell you the truth, but that's my fault.
Yes, ma'am. Would you
I
care
have
to
a
walk up?
question for Herbie on his
Could you care to
fix,
walk up and introduce yourself?
on his fix a stray funds. Has he ever acknowledged the fact that the Humane Society helped him with his spay and neuters of his animals? at the Coon Club?
I did not acknowledge that, but I did not deny it. When you put it on Facebook, you did, the Humane Society I support, but they did not help us. They helped the
Yes,
residents.
they
Wait
did.
a minute, hey. They helped the residents of Perry County. All I did was host the event.
Okay.
And the Humane
And the
Society put
Humane
up $1,000 for the residents of Perry County, low income.
Okay.
So they helped the residents of Perry County, which
And
is a
they
good thing.
also helped at the 4-H club by themselves for, what, 800 and some odd cats?
120 some,
A
118.
little more than that.
That was their,
No, there was more that weren't
wasn't
written
effective.
down because there were strays that were dropped off. Kittens were abandoned, who weren't even weaned.
that was not a Fix a Stray event. Fix a Stray
No, that was
backed
a
out.
Humane Society
Right.
event.
We
Thank you.
backed out and turned it over to them.
Excuse me?
I said, the Humane Society
Okay.
didn't have the Fix a Stray.
Did not have the Coon
Humane
Club.
Society.
Yeah, we helped.
But anyway, on Central Dispatch, they also have numbers, just like today. They had a lady in Tell City with a skunk problem. And Central Dispatch has numbers, if you call them, that they will give you, and you can contract a guy here in
And
Tell
that's-
City.
And that's the way it, and people should be aware of that. We had a snake in our store, called dispatch. They contacted a conservation officer, and it was taken care of, so.
And the one other thing on the key part, I fixed that at your request. I fixed the lock with a combination
Okay.
so they could get in and out of it. It's all they need, and everything they need, food,
Okay,
all the stuff is right there in front of that door,
so we just need to give them the code and get the keys back, or whatever, basically is what we need to do.
I think. Any other questions?
We still probably have to have an action on that.
I just basically want to tell you that I'm withdrawing my plan in favor of Shelby's plan. I had a personal meeting with her, and I really agree with what she's trying to do, and I think it's best for the county. I gave her the plan to say, if there's anything in here you can use, I'm requesting that you really look at the dispatch part, okay, that's in the plan, and she's doing that, and I'm withdrawing my plan in favor of helping her get her plan together, okay?
Okay, all right. Next meeting?
Next meeting is next Tuesday, the 15th at 9 a.m. here at the courthouse.
Thanks, everyone. You have lots of time, guys.